Hey Dystinct readers, my name's Alexis Costello. I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I've got ADHD and dyslexia. I'm distinct. My journey started when I was a kid, school. Always struggled terribly with maths and English and reading. I didn't learn to read until much later than everybody else, and I hated it. It was such a chore. I really struggled with comprehension and really retaining the information that the teachers were telling me. And quite often I'd wake up at the end of class and just think, what happened and how does everybody know what to do? And I would just miss the entire lesson. I would have conversations with people and look like I'm really engaged and looking at them in the eyes, but actually not computing anything that they're saying, because one word has taken me to another word, and all of a sudden I'm in my own kaleidoscope. And I really do feel like having ADHD and dyslexia, I mean, everybody's different, but in my case, it's like being stuck in a kaleidoscope, and you're trying really hard to turn the nozzle to focus on the colors, but they don't focus, and it just keeps spinning. So it's like your brain is always like that. Just when you think you've got somewhere or got a concept, things change or you get distracted. But funnily enough, I struggled so hard to read and write, but I could memorize hundreds and hundreds of lines of Shakespeare at age maybe 10. Got the lead part in a Shakespeare play at school, and I could remember that night after night. And my career went into the creative arts and into acting and, numerous plays and, TV and films as well. But with plays, there is so much dialogue to learn. And somehow I could retain that and perform night after night after night in character, remembering all of these words because it really meant something to me. So people with ADHD in particular, unless they're engaged in something, unless you're feeling like I'm on fire, baby, it's so hard to stay engaged and stay motivated. With me, I mean, I could read a work email and have to read it 100 times, pick out different words or get my husband to translate because my brain just can't follow along. All the letters kind of jump out and it doesn't catch me. But I can also spend hours and hours lost in painting. So after I had children and COVID hit, the acting scene in Australia was not effervescent. So I really channeled all of my creativity into art. So I do these huge paintings quite often, depicting women and people and femininity, but really the portrait, but in many different colors and textures and shapes and expressions. So I certainly don't make art to go with your curtains or your couch, but it's a real expression for me, and I can be engaged for hours and hours. If I didn't have to get up to kids the next morning, I could stay up all night. But yeah, I have to be engaged. And also in a crisis, I work quite well because that's how my brain is anyway. It's almost like it's always in fight or flight, because despite people thinking we're lazy, we actually work 10 times harder than anybody else to understand, retain, and translate and communicate back to you. So we're actually not lazy. I felt like I was for years and years and years, and my brain would be so mean. My inner voice would be so mean to me. So I've really had to negotiate with her to be a little bit kinder to myself. And now I'm on a tangent, and now I totally forgot what I was saying, but I'm sure I will get it back at some point. This is just my brain. So I guess, this magazine is really focused on parents with kids who have got neurodiverse brains, as my daughter and I like to call it, rainbow brains. My daughter was diagnosed last year with ADHD and has definitely been flagged for dyslexia as well. And I think even until we got her diagnosis, I was so hard on myself. And you can get away with it for a while if you're a creative and, there's ways to work with it. But now my husband runs his own business and I work with him, and I've been in the business now for coming up to 4 years. And at first I was terrified and presenting to these GMs and to these really senior corporate executives. And I think it was after my daughter got diagnosed, I realized actually I have just as much to give, and my seat at the table is just as worthy as the CEOs, the GMs, the head of this and the head of that. I just communicate differently. I will comprehend differently, but then I will be able to bring unique ideas or innovations or understandings or readings of the room, and those little nuances that others might not pick up on. And yeah, I think it was really after my daughter got diagnosed, I just would hate for her to grow up in a world where people felt that the dyslexic brain, the neurodiverse brain, ADHD brain is less than. And it is not. It is wired differently, and it is wired perfectly and beautifully, but we have to own it, because I didn't for a long time. And until we own it and acknowledge and work with it, and just, we're not all supposed to be the same. How boring would life be if we were the same? And I tried so hard to be the same for a really long time, but actually I just got sick of trying to be the person I felt like I should be, because I will never be. So until we embrace ourselves and our loved ones and, really get it out there that, I don't know if I like the word superpower, because I feel like it's like a click of a button and we can do it all. That's certainly not the case for me. I've had to work my butt off. I'm 38 years old and I have been working my butt off for a really long time, trying to find my way and navigate my way in life and in me and in my brain and body. So really, I'm so grateful for my daughter, who has taught me so much. And we've recently gone on medication. I kind of fobbed off my diagnosis for a long time, and it wasn't until she got diagnosed, and I read somewhere, if your child needed glasses, would you deprive them of glasses? And my brain lit up, and I just thought, you're so right. If my daughter needs medication to be able to focus, and nurture the beautiful side of herself rather than focusing on the critical side of herself, which I know happens with a lot of neurodiverse brains. I thought it was really important to explore the medication route. So I went on it first, and immediately it's like the radio is still really loud and there's still many channels, but it's almost like you can make out the different voices and the different songs slightly better, and slightly more clearly. And so I was on the medication for a few weeks, and then my daughter went on it several weeks later, and that was a year ago. And I have to say, I will nearly cry saying this and my heart will burst, but our relationship is incredible now. Previously, we would rub up against each other. We couldn't control our emotions. We were trying to self-regulate, and I was trying to self-medicate, and it was just, the dynamic was quite explosive and chaotic. Always love there, huge love, but just not always expressed well. So now I think we can both, really that self-regulation for us has been a huge blessing, and we're just little besties now. So look, I hope my story somehow resonates with some of you. Really appreciate this platform and the Dystinct Magazine and everybody who is working towards putting neurodiversity on the, not just on the map, but on the celebration card, because we're really incredible people, but we really do have to stand together and understand each other and help other people understand us also. So thanks for listening. Wishing you all the best and love on your journey. You are beautiful, you're creative, you're bold, you're different, and that's brilliant.